Hey guys, what's going on? I hope everybody's having a great a great what's today? A great Wednesday. Um Welcome in to 30 Books in 30 Weeks. We're on week 29 of our 30-week journey, and this week we're talking about Journey to Find Your Butterfly Potential, which second edition, which is the first second edition of my very first book that I wrote in 2014. The second edition I did in 2015, and it is such an honor, such a pleasure, such a joy to share with you the inner workings of me. I shared with you guys earlier this week when we started this book that this book is all of my heart and all of my soul. It is all of the whole me. And so to be able to share some of the most pivotal parts of my journey, my story with you guys is truly, truly an honor. So as you guys come in, feel free to invite some folks into the conversation with us tonight. We're going to talk about how to be changed, how you can be changed by the past, but you don't have to be reduced by it, which is absolutely amazing. Hey Janice, how are you, gorgeous? So I'm excited to have that conversation with you guys tonight, especially the ladies out there, to talk about what that really looks like all grown up, how it manifests in our lives, and how we kind of navigate that space. For those of you who may be popping in for the very first time, you're not familiar with me, you don't know what 30 Books in 30 Weeks is. 30 Books in 30 Weeks is a personal development journey that I embarked on about 9 months ago, 10 months ago now, back in October of last year. And then in January, I said, you know what? Let's take this to the next level. Let's raise the bar on this process. And so I really wanted to take a deeper dive into some personal development gems and jewels, things that have been impactful in my life that I wanted to be able to share with other people. I oftentimes share the information with my clients, but then that's as far as it goes. So this gives me an open forum to be able to share more pieces of me, more tips, tools, takeaways, ahas, nuggets, breadcrumbs, with all of you guys. And so for those of you who may not know me, my name is Marcy Batiste. I am your ultimate power coach, America's #1 reality-based success and recovery trainer, and I am so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're going to join me this week on this journey to talk about Journey to Find Your Butterfly Potential. And if you guys missed the hey Adrian, hey Anthony, if you guys missed the intro to this, please go back and watch that video. It's on my YouTube. There's a link in the description where I really talk about like what this book is and what it means to me, and that's important information for you guys to have, because it will shed some light on how to be able to use some of these things as tools. So tonight we're talking about, it's actually one of my, I wish I could take credit for the saying, but I cannot. It is by one of my greatest mentors, one of my greatest idols ever, a literary genius, Dr. Maya Angelou, and she said, and it's how I open the book. It's in chapter 1. She says, I can be forever changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. I can be forever changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. And I remember the first time I heard her say that, I wrote it down, and I sat there for the longest time and I thought about the implications of being able to apply that to my life. I can be forever changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. And at the time I was going through, I was digging up bits and pieces of my past. I was working on the book. Well, I had not started the book yet, but I was had started my healing journey, things like that. I was starting to lose weight. A lot of things were in process, but I felt stuck. I felt stuck. I felt still sad. I still had the mindset of a 400-pound woman. It was just this really odd time. And I remember she was on Oprah's show, the very first time I ever heard her say that. And I wrote it down and I thought, if I can learn how to apply that simple principle to my life, it'll be a game changer. it will be a game changer. And it's a complete mindset shift from what we're used to. I can be forever changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. And to share with you guys, I shared with you guys some of my struggles being almost 400 pounds, daddyless daughter syndrome. I was biracial but born in Iowa. I never really felt like I fit in. I had acne. I mean, I had all kinds of stuff growing up. I was molested when I was 12. I got pregnant the very first time I had sex. I had an abortion at the very last minute from that when I was 17. I mean, just all this stuff that I didn't know what to do with. And it truly had reduced me. I had become the sum of everything that I thought I was as a result of what had happened to me. What do I mean when I say that? I believed wholeheartedly that I had no value. I believed that if your daddy doesn't love you, no one will. I believed that in some respects that when I had complications with with my first daughter, with my pregnancy, I felt like I deserved that was God punishing me because I had the abortion many years earlier. So there were all these things going on in my life, and I had just taken one thing after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, and I piled it on, and every single flaw, every single failure defined me. Meanwhile, career-wise, I'm progressing. I'm climbing up the corporate ladder, very successful career-wise. But in my personal life, I was always a train wreck. And I sat there as she said that on Oprah's show, and I thought, if I can just apply that to my life, like, how does that work? What does that mean exactly? And I read it, and I reread it, and I meditated on it, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? This is what that means to me. It means that everything that I thought I couldn't do isn't true. It means that everything that people have always said about me may not be true. Some of them might be, some of them might be not. The mistakes I've made, I don't have to relive those every single day. The failures that I've had, I don't have to relive those every single day. I can grow from that. I can grow beyond that. And so I began, when we talk about being reality-based, you guys, when I tell you reality-based living is my life, this is just the first, this is how it all started. This is when it all began, when I heard that quote. Because it taught me, what that quote taught me to do, it taught me to question what people told me about who I was versus what I knew myself to be. And it allowed me for the very first time to begin starting to define the woman I wanted to become. Never mind who I was, but who did I want to become? How did I want to be perceived in the world? How did I want to show up in the world? Right? And it took a while. I'm not going to tell you that it was just an overnight, boom, there you go, you got it, girl, go ahead. It wasn't like that at all. It was years of practicing this principle and screwing it up, messing it up, and starting over, tearing out the sheet of paper, starting over, rewriting my life, recrafting my story, recrafting who I am. Who did I want to show up to be? Because the other thing that quote taught me was I can be and I can become anything that I set my mind to, because I refuse to be reduced by my failures. I refuse to be reduced by my mistakes. I refuse to be reduced by what you tell me I am. I refuse to be reduced by what you tell me I'm not. I refuse to be reduced by what you tell me my capabilities are. Because you see, the other thing that I know is that I was born into a promise as a child of God. I'm a daughter of a king. And therefore, being born into a promise, my potential My potential, my butterfly potential is unlimited. And so I began to practice that over and over and over. And I would run into these situations and these occurrences and these mistakes, and I would bump my head against these walls, and invariably I would have to remind myself, you're allowing this mistake to reduce you. Stop it. Don't do that. You can be changed by it, certainly. You can't help but be changed by your past. You can't help but be changed by the things that have happened to you. You can't help, hey Terry, you can't help but be changed by, abuses committed against you. You can be changed by them, but you must not allow them to define you to the point that you reduce yourself to being nothing more than your mistake, to being nothing more than your failure. You're so much more than that. Your capacity is limitless, completely limitless. Your potential is unending. You can be, you can do, you can become whatever it is you tell yourself that you can become. But if all you will tell yourself is that you are the sum total of every mistake, every flaw, every failure that you've ever had, you limit your capacity, and now you're reduced by it. And that's why that statement to me by Dr. Maya Angelou was one of the game changer statements, because I took it, and I took it not only as a statement, it became a proclamation for my life. I proclaim, I refuse to be reduced by my mistakes. I refuse to be reduced by who you say I am. I don't care who you are. Mother, husband, supervisor, boss, church leader, I don't care. I refuse to be reduced by what you say I am based on the mistakes I may have made. There's another saying that I absolutely love, and it says, I may have done the things they say I've done, but I am not who they say I am. I may have done the things they say I've done, but I'm not who they say I am. And to me, those two things, those two proclamations, go hand in hand with reality-based living. You have to learn to question everything that someone tells you who you are, about what your potential is, what your capacity is. You have to learn to question all of that and tell yourself, you have to remind yourself, if it means standing in the mirror every day and you say, I refuse to be reduced by my mistakes. I refuse to be defined by my failures. I refuse to be reduced to who you say I am. I refuse to be reduced to the capacity you say I have, to fall in line with the limits that you have set for me. Because when we do that, we're basically saying that these earthly people know something more than God does, because God said you was born into a promise to prosper. He didn't say, oh, if you make some mistakes, then I'm going to take away the promise. That wasn't the agreement. So when you allow yourself to be reduced by your mistakes, you are questioning God's ability to deliver. And we all know He has the capacity to deliver, but you have to be able to believe that it's possible. You can't hope for something to change and to get better while at the same time simultaneously believing that it's not possible. And so if you reduce yourself to the sum total of your fears, flaws, failures, and mistakes of the past, then you're telling yourself that nothing better is possible. Different is not possible. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here to testify, I'm here to let you know, different is possible. Better is waiting for you. You can do it. You can lose the weight. You can get the job. You can, whatever the thing is, you want to learn how to paint. The only thing I can't do is dunk a basketball. I already know. Like, it ain't going to matter how much practice I take. That's what I'm not going to be able to do. And so I'm realistic about that, you guys. But for the most part, if you set your mind to something, and you set your heart to something, you set your spirit to something, your capacity is unlimited. Your potential is unlimited. That's what your journey, that's the journey to find your butterfly potential. That's what this is all about. This is about finding that place where you're like, hey, I'm good. I'm straight right here. I'm good. This is my spot. This is my life. This is my world, my rules, all of that. This is the spot. I can be changed. I can be forever changed. Yes, you can alter my experience, but you may not, because I refuse to let you reduce me as a result of it. You will not reduce my capacity. So that's the message for tonight. Journey to find your butterfly potential. I hope beyond all hope that y'all share this out, because I really do feel that proclamation, that statement is a game changer for someone's lives, especially for my sisters, because so many times, so many things have happened to us, and they have drug us down, and they have pulled us down and held us back, and we allow ourselves to be reduced as a result of that. And so we hush ourselves, we quiet our voices, we shrink based on what people tell us our capacity is. And I want you to take that proclamation, and I want you to hang it on your mirror if you have to. I want you to hang it on your wall if you have to. Put it as a screensaver on your phone. Whatever you have to do, but you remind yourself every single day, yes, I can be forever changed by what has happened to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Okay? That's the message. That's the message, you guys. And then the other thing, the other favorite quote was that I may have done the things they say I've done, but I am not who they say I am. And those are the two things that I want you guys to take away from this video today. That's takeaways from this book, Journey to Find Your Butterfly Potential. Apply those and make those proclamations to yourself. Apply those principles to your life, and they will be a game changer. I promise you. I promise you. Adrian, if they lower the basket and dunk it. See, there you go. Adrian just taught me how how I can dunk a basketball. That's what's up. See, I can dunk a basketball. We just need to lower the hoop a little bit. I love it. All right, you guys, have an amazing rest of your night. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, and for being part of the Ultimate Power team, for living life on Mars and living your best life. I appreciate you all. Have a great night, and we'll talk tomorrow.